advice do you have to homeowners?
Practicing that preparedness. Starting the conversation now is always going to be a benefit to any association out there.
And Happy New Year and welcome to the Recovery Report Live. I'm Dan Odess, president of GlobalPro, where we manage risk to recovery, and we have managed more than $1 billion in recovery and helped thousands of policyholders with their insurance needs. But this show is about giving you information you can use. It's about business owners, community associations alike that need assistance, that need help navigating the difficult insurance process, business processes. We bring on industry experts. We bring on whether it's from lobbyists to material experts to engineers to contractors to fellow insurance experts that can provide you additional information that you can use. That's what it's all about. And we want to celebrate the 81st episode and a countdown. We are here, baby. We are in our 10th year. The countdown has ended. We are excited to celebrate the 10th anniversary of GlobalPro. We're going to be talking all about that all year long. You're going to be hearing about all the great things that we're doing. The year is packed. The year is packed with all kinds of exciting things. And if you didn't tune in for last week's episode, I encourage you to go check it out. It was a broadcast about what to expect this year, all the galas, all the events, all the things that we have coming that we're going to be delivering to you. There's going to be new show content. We're going to have on new industry experts and advisors and people that we are friends with in the community, that are pillars in this community, that are doing the good work that we continue to promote and be a part of. We want to help our community rebound from the worst. We want to make sure that they have what they need, that we can get back to normal as soon as we can. And again, the looming pandemic with all the issues regarding COVID and the different strains and everything else that's going on and the changes in policies, they all impact our business owners, our community associations, and we want to constantly be reporting on those issues, and that's what this is about. And we are live on LinkedIn. We are live on YouTube, Facebook. The information is posted to Instagram and Twitter. You have all the information right there, the tools, but never forget about our website, GlobalPro.com. It's really simple to use, to navigate. Make sure you're signing up for the newsletter right there, getting the information about what's relevant to you as a business owner in a community association. Here in the new year is so important. There's so many things that are changing. We're headed into a new legislative session in the various different markets in which we operate, where we provide and continue to provide the consistent service you all have learned to love, right? And if you haven't experienced it yet, reach out to us. I'm sure there's something we can do for you, either a business owner, either a community association. But I want to get into a few things that were in our newsletter, and I want to report on these things because there's some really important things that will impact those in the coastal areas. But as we saw with some of these hurricanes in what I'm talking about, they did come on shore and impact further inland than what we have seen in the past. But we also ran out of names last year. And Colorado University is already saying the same is going to happen this year. So if you aren't already thinking about planning and preparation, well, start practicing it now. And if you need help with it, that's what we're here for. Let us know how we can help you in your planning and preparation. We want to make sure that you're practicing it. We want to make sure that you're taking the patience to understand, and you have the patience to understand what it takes to actually recover, what it actually takes to plan for the recovery, right? There's a lot of things you can do up front to curb the length of time that it takes to maximize the results of those recoveries, to ensure that you don't become a victim of mitigation contractors and the insurance companies befuddled process and the limitations and exclusions that are constantly misinterpreted. So make sure that you understand what's in your policy, what's not included, what's excluded. That's what this is all about. And when Colorado University is reporting that we're going to run out of names, you certainly want to make sure that you are planning for this year's hurricane season. Also, last year was one of the fourth highest year of catastrophes since 1970. Over $100 billion in damages has been reported by the insurance company industry. Over $100 billion. Fourth highest year, right? Those are big numbers. We're running out of names, according to Colorado University. These are not good signs. These are signs pointing to being prepared, making sure that you are practicing preparedness, making sure that you understand the processes, making sure you understand your insurance policy. What did you actually buy? Making sure that you're paying a fair market value for it is also important. I recently did some insurance reviews for some high net worth individuals and a couple businesses and noticed some unsettling issues with regards to their policies that, clearly their broker or agents were unaware of the operations of either their assets or the businesses themselves. And since I had been on site several times, not because I'm managing claims, but because I have a genuine interest in what my clients are doing and how they do it, and also because they've tasked me with helping them buy the best product for the best price, which ironically their own insurance agent or broker should be participating in, but had no interest in doing because they were busy or out of town. But we were out there, we were doing those things. But you should be demanding those things of your agent or broker. What else are you paying the commission for? Yeah, they're there to negotiate and help and work as a middleman and making sure that both the insurance company and you are satisfied with the deal, right? However, if no one has come onto the property and they're more often engaging in post-loss underwriting, which is certainly a trend we see with insurance companies, you need to get that agent and broker out to the property. You need to make sure that you have a coverage expert there looking at these issues and thinking about the claims process and simulating a loss or damage. With reporting on that last year was the 4th highest year, and this year we're going to run out of names again. Come on, let's get real. And also noticing trends with mitigation contractors. Well, there was a recent case which, it says an insurer can keep using its own repair contractor. And this insurer was fighting and saying, hey, we want to use our mitigation contractor. The whole lawsuit stemmed, though, from that the homeowner believed that the contractor didn't, first off, know what they were doing, had issued a scope of work that was substantially less than what it should have been, and struggled to understand the competency of this contractor, whether or not they could actually perform the work. Could they actually do this stuff on time within budget? Well, the insured started questioning those things. And lo and behold, shockingly, when they went to an appraisal panel with this claim, it was determined that the insurance company's contractor had undervalued the scope of the work by tens of thousands of dollars. However, the court still required the insured to comply and allow this same contractor to come onto the property and do the work. It doesn't make sense. Know your rights, understand what's in your policy. I think this has a ripple effect, and it's not a very good thing for consumers, right? Someone that is so wrong, that doesn't understand, truly didn't understand the scope of the damage or what it was going to take or how much it was going to cost, who was simply working on behalf of its owner, the insurance company, substantially undervalues the loss, the scope of work, the method of, gets the whole method of repair wrong, and you're forced to use that same contractor, even though they were proven to be wrong all along, and you were right about how bad they were. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And when we're seeing the Arctic blasts roll through Texas and the Northeast, and it's causing substantial damages, and you have the tornadoes that are impacting near the end of last year, and Colorado, again, reporting, another high, an intense year with regards to hurricanes, understands your role and responsibility as an insured, but also understand, the information contained with that policy. What are the insurance companies' rights? What can they force you to do, and how are they supposed to pay you? Or are they just allowed to hire some contractor that clearly lacks any sort of competency in order to perform work? Because how could they possibly perform the work if they don't even know what the actual work is that needs to be done is, or the scope of it, or the cost of it, right? How can they be that wrong, right? And still get the job? I mean, in the real world, if as a contractor, I'm bidding out a job and someone doesn't get it right, I mean, I'm going to struggle with that, right? I'm going to struggle to hire that person. I'm not going to hire that person. I'm going to go somewhere else. Screw that. I'm not going to struggle. I'm just not going to hire them, right? You're going to move on. That doesn't make sense. So, keep in mind, as the cold weather rushes into Texas and the Northeast and it's causing damage and everything else, there's a lot of best business practices out there to protect your interests. And we recently posted about it all over our social media. So if you haven't seen that post, just scroll down through there. And while you're there, hey, hit the subscribe button, like us, and follow us, right? Because we're going to keep providing that sort of information. And we're going to be using these tools to make sure that our clients and our colleagues are aware of this. And yeah, we see other people take that information and rebrand it and remarket and reuse it, but the reality of it is the information needs to be out there. It needs to be used. It needs to be in the hands of policyholders. They need to be able to protect their interests. But look at who's providing that information and think a little bit more closely about the source of that information and where it may have originated. We're insurance coverage experts, so clearly we're going to be talking about best business practices to mitigate damages, to protect your interest, to make sure to do it. When you see it come from a contractor, a mitigation contractor talking about those things, I kind of scratch my head at it, right? Because like in this instance, with this insurance company and their contractor, clearly their interest, like we see with most mitigation companies, is just to get paid, right? They want to get in there, do some work, get paid, and run on. They want the insurance company to pay them directly. It's a debacle and a debate and an issue that I brought up in my in one of our end of the year episodes in 2021. It's an issue that's unfortunately impacting policyholders so much so that in last legislative session there was major overhaul with regards to the rights of a mitigation contractor. What can or can't they do? One of the things is not negotiate on your behalf. So if you have a mitigation contractor out there that wants a power of attorney or wants an assignment of benefits, and in one instance, which I highlighted in one of the prior episodes at the end of 2021, worked for your insurance company, represents their interests, and defends, their work product, and fights other associations and contractors, which results in litigation, and this actually happened. Is that really someone you want working for you? And then you come to find out that your management company owns the company, and there's no disclosures of all of these conflicts of interest and everything that's going on. I mean, come on, scratch your head. See what's going on here. The cards are stacked against you. They work for the insurance company. They're owned by your management company. They're doing all of these things that are not in your interest. They're telling you that by hiring a coverage expert, someone like a public adjuster or an attorney is going to delay the process. Well, it's not delaying the process. It's first off, it's going to interfere with them doing whatever it is they can do to get paid as soon as they can. And as we saw in this case recently, the contractor was so wrong on the issue, the policyholder actually knew to say something about it. But unfortunately, as a board, you may only be one voice, right? And there may be a lot of unit owners that were just like, oh, I just want it fixed. But what are they actually fixing? How are they fixing it? And as I highlighted in that prior episode, this one particular mitigation company, because they were in such a rush to just get work done and get paid, they violated building codes, which ended up in a stop work order, which ended up in attorney's fees and a whole bunch of other issues, which had to be dealt with, right? And it cost money, and none of that was recoverable. So start asking questions about who these people are, who owns them, whose interests they've represented and protected, and whether or not they're actually going to be working for you. Now, they may have big fancy trucks and a lot of people and great marketing and advertisements, but again, look behind the curtain. Let the smoke clear. Let's start asking questions, down the line. If they're just getting paid the benefits and they're negotiating directly with their friend, the insurance company who hires them all the time, again, breaking the law basically, because they're not allowed to negotiate their estimates. They're simply allowed to provide it and provide you a service. So let's start thinking about these things. Why do they need an assignment of benefit? Why do they need a power of attorney? Why do they need a scope of service that goes beyond just simply mitigation? Where's the emergency after you've done the mitigation? If you were doing construction on site, particularly for an association, you're going to do construction, you would go to bid for these things. But now you're in a rush because the contractor's convinced you, oh, don't worry about it. My friend, the insurance company, is just going to simply pay you. And by the way, my management company and their superiors get bonused and judged based on how much money is paid to the mitigation company that we also own, et cetera, et cetera. These are all issues and conflicts of interest. Your conflicts of interest. You as a fiduciary to your association. Start exposing these things. Start talking about these things. Start asking these questions, right? Why are you hiring these people if they're all owned and they're all kind of talking behind the scenes and not looking out for you? I mean, too often it results in litigation and issues and disputes, and if the scope of work is not agreed to or vetted or put out to bid, then how do you know you're actually getting a fair price and the proper scope of work? I mean, they may be to get it wrong. I mean, you never just hired the first contractor that came out of the property. Why are you doing that now? You have no obligation to do those things. I mean, start to talk. I mean, do your bylaws require you to hire a fiduciary to manage insurance proceeds? Did you do that? Well, you didn't do it because they rushed you into a contract. You assigned all your rights over there. They're working with their friend, the insurance company, and your management company, and kind of doing whatever they can to. I mean, they're getting paid, right? You see none of that. It's your money. You paid the premium. That's your money being directed over to them without your say, without your vote, without your unit owner's vote, without your board's vote, without anyone's consent. It's just going over there. No one knows what they're actually getting paid for. All right, so start to think about those things. Start thinking about why that's happening. Why is that a trend? Why? Because it's just about money. That's what it is for them, to get on and off jobs. Why? Because they have limited resources. If they spent the time on your job waiting for this process to actually get done properly, for the scope of work to be determined, for you to recover the actual benefits, it creates a bottleneck for them, and they don't want to deal with the bottleneck. They want to run to the next job. They want to be able to spread the resources as much as they can. It's simple. I get it. But it doesn't mean it's right. Right? So start asking questions. That's what 2022 is all about. We are so excited about this new year. We're excited about our 10th anniversary. We're excited about continuing to provide the great service. We continue to set the bar higher. Our focus is the same, right? We want to continue delivering on our mission. Now, our goals have changed, but our focus remains the same because our mission is the same. The mission is to protect the interests of our policyholders, is to make sure that we're continuing to disrupt the insurance industry, to make sure that we are developing tech and we are participating in the development of real estate and working with contractors and management companies and other advisors like lawyers and accountants, to making sure that they understand the impacts of the advice and the advice they give and the decisions you make, whether you're board members or a business owner. We want to make sure that your advisors have the information they need to better perform, to provide more value to you. And that's what this is about. And we want to continue to make sure that you have that information. And the best way to do that is to hit the subscribe button on YouTube, like us and follow us on all the social media, and continue to tune in. If you missed the episode, check it out on our YouTube page. Scroll through our social media feeds. It's all there. Or go ahead. Go to GlobalPro.com and a pop-up will come up. Sign up and subscribe for the newsletter. You'll get all the updates right there. You'll be able to click right in your email box and you'll get all the links to all the information, and we will continue to tell you all about the great events and everything else that's going on. And I want to thank everyone for supporting us up until this point, and all of those that continue to advocate for our services and provide us the opportunity to represent them. This has been a tremendous ride to 10 years. I'm looking forward to the next 5, 10, 20, and beyond. I'm excited. I have so much great news and exciting things to tell you all about throughout 2022. So continue to tune in. We'll see you next week right here, same place, same time on the Recovery Report Live.